The first-time protester you're about to meet may surprise you. She defies the images you've seen of the angry mob, and that's the point. She wants you and police to keep an open mind about her, just as she, despite everything she's been through, has kept an open mind about police.
The game had gotten old. Everywhere the protesters marched, police charged ahead.
They kept blocking us.
We were getting pelted with rocks.
When the cops, tired of the chase, they let chemicals fly. When Leah Lane got tired of being chased, she simply stopped.
A lot of people are afraid to stand up, and I'm not.
So while hundreds of other protesters fled, they would eventually find themselves surrounded and arrested. Leah Lane,
I have a choice, in that I am proud of it.
Squared off with a unit of the Minneapolis Bike Patrol. State landmark looming, state's authority flexing. Leah Lane sang. But the bike brigade decided there was one too many soloists in this St. Paul street.
I planned on staying my ground even if they came after me, so in some way I sort of figured I was going to get arrested, but I just did not plan for how much they would do to me in order to get arrested.
How vulnerable do you look there?
I think I look fairly vulnerable.
Leah has looked at Fox 9 video of her arrest time and again, and each time gets a little more sad.
I'm disappointed, mostly, in them, in our government, at the choices that they made.
Everyone made choices that night.
Oh, God!
And judgments. Listen carefully. Leah wanders through the smoke. The bandana is to protect her mouth and nose from chemicals.
They moved their bikes from the holding stand, which is to the side, forward. I knew they were going to start coming towards me, so I was like trying to get prepared.
She shouts to a protester somewhere behind her.
You ready to get arrested?
Police advance, shouting orders to move.
In general, I feel like people shouldn't leave if they're truly protesting for a good reason.
We hear an officer shout, "Mace her! Mace her!" And they do, at close range from 3 sides. Her hands go up.
I wasn't resisting one tiny bit. They could have easily arrested me at any point or even gotten around me.
But it doesn't end. Still shouting orders, 3 Minneapolis police officers assigned to the RNC hit her with their bikes.
I was trying to cover myself for the most part so I didn't get seriously damaged. I just remember hearing them yelling at me like, "Move, move, move." Even like when they pushed me on the ground, they were yelling, "Move, move." It's kind of hard to move after a while, you know.
In the meantime, a St. Paul officer spots me watching. That loud sound is him spraying pepper spray at my feet.
I know, let's go. We know who you are.
Let's go. I know who you are, he says.
I'm not crossing the police line. I'd like to be able to observe the arrest, please.
You're in the street. You need to be in the street.
Actually, I was standing on the median.
I'm not crossing the police line. I'm not blocking traffic. I think it's important I observe her arrest.
She's on the ground now. They've moved bicycles in to block our view. From where I stand, though, I can hear her crying.
I could hear you saying, "I can't breathe."
Yeah, well, that was when their foot was on top of my face. Like, it was to the side, and I just couldn't breathe. I pleaded like 3 times until they took their foot off.
And why do you suppose they had their foot on your face?
It's just probably just to help restrain me.
And what is this 18-year-old thinking all this time?
And how I wish I could see them just so I could remember their faces and see if they felt bad at all or if they were happy or, you know, I figure for the most part they're just doing their job.
Just doing their jobs. Maybe the last words you'd expect her to say.
I think it was frustration for a long day.
It's not that she thinks what they did was okay.
I felt very wronged at the time, like while it was happening. And I felt like almost being cruel, like bullies on the playground.
It's just she's willing to try to understand.
They didn't know how to handle it, for one thing, for a second thing, and then for a third thing, that maybe they're trying to avoid paperwork or else avoid getting me arrested for my sake.
And to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I'm a lover.
Mostly, she'd like to talk to them.
First, I'd ask them, how their day was. Because, they've had a tough day, I'm sure, too. It's very stressful. I would want to know what happened, what was going on in their minds.
The way Leah sees it, she's more likely to get them thinking about how they live and do their jobs that way.
I don't know how they feel about it, but I forgive them. And that I hope that they try to live their life right and happy, and that they don't try to judge people.
Then by getting angry.
I want them to know that I don't hate them like a lot of other people do, especially after that kind of situation.
Which you could say makes her a true pacifist.
Because Minneapolis Police Chief Tim Dolan wants the whole thing reviewed, he won't talk about what happened to Leah. She says she felt sick for a couple of days afterwards. She had headaches, her skin burned, her chest hurt, and she felt anxious. Police say they used what's called OC pepper spray on her, which they say is a temporary irritant and not harmful. I'm Trish Van Pilsum for the Fox 9 Investigators.